I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. After Donald Trump was arrested, arraigned, pled not guilty, around the same time he was threatening former Vice President Mike Pence and threatening prosecutors on his social media platform, he got a warm welcome by the Alabama GOP House delegation, and they all endorsed Donald Trump. Every single member of the Alabama GOP House of Representatives delegation threw like a celebration party for Donald Trump as the MAGA takeover of the Republican Party is effectively complete. It's been complete for some time now. And I just think it's important that we do not frame or talk about this modern day Republican Party as just the normal Republicans. They are MAGA Republican. They are Trumpists, and it resembles a cult. I'm going to show you the speech that Donald Trump gave at this event in Montgomery, Alabama, and it's all him just whining. It's all him just talking about himself. There's no reference of what he's ever going to do for the people, what his policies are, how he's going to help the economy, or how he's going to do anything. No, it's just him whining and talking about being indicted and all of it. And it's just the ranting and ravings of a lunatic. Let me show you some of the statements that Donald Trump made at this event. And then I want to compare them to some of the things that President Joe Biden is talking about, so you can see the comparison here. Here, Donald Trump, this is one of his most popular lines with MAGA Republicans, where he says that he's being indicted for you. Play the clip.
Because I'm being indicted for you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Lee Greenwood. Never forget, our enemies want to stop us because we are the ones and the only ones that are able to stop them. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple.
Here, Donald Trump talks about who he calls deranged Jack Smith. He calls the prosecutor a deranged and a sick person, again, after being arraigned. I mean, again, who's out there like, yeah, deranged? I mean, the Republicans. I mean, tell me, what are you going to do about jobs? What are you doing with the economy? What are you doing with health care and Social Security and Medicare? What are you doing with those things? Play the clip.
Despite the demented prosecution of our movement by our corrupt and highly partisan Department of Injustice and deranged Jack Smith, doesn't he look deranged? You see the picture with the purple robe? He's a deranged human being. We're getting stronger by the day. Somebody said, you should treat him nicer. Maybe he'd be nice. Let me tell you, this guy is a lost soul, bad guy. Don't get nicer. He's a deranged, sick person. Think of what we already achieved in this incredible 4 years, and we had to go through Russia. We had to go through the Mueller report, which after 2.5 years said no collusion, right? No collusion, it said, with Russia. We had to go through all those phony FISA things that were signed so badly. We had to go through a lot. All hoaxes and scams, and it's not changed at all. And they're the ones that have to be investigated, and those elections have to be investigated because we have to have those honorable elections in our country. We delivered the largest tax cuts and regulatory cuts in the history of America.
Here, Donald Trump is talking about civil rights. No, he's not. He's talking about his civil rights. He claims that his civil rights are being violated. Play the clip.
The only civil rights that have been violated in this matter are my civil rights and those of the countless people that Biden and the communists have been persecuting. And they are communists, and they're Marxists, and they're people that don't get it. They get it. They're vicious and they're smart, but we're smarter and we're tougher than they are, and we're going to take it back, and we have no choice because otherwise we're not going to have a country left.
Here, Donald Trump again talks about sham indictments. Play the clip.
The fact is that it's not fair, and it's probably not legal what they're doing. They want to interfere in my campaign. They want to interfere in the elections, a commonly used tactic in third world countries. That's where this tactic comes, third world, fourth world, fifth world countries. And they're taking it to a level that our country's never seen. The fake charges put forth in their sham indictment are an outrageous criminalization of political speech. That's all it is. you make a statement, oh, we have to indict him because he said we were dishonest, let's indict him. They're trying to make it illegal to question the results of a bad election. It was a very bad election, everybody knows that. But only a party that cheats in elections would try to make it illegal, because if you have nothing to hide, why would you do that? And why would you be afraid to have those results come out? If you can't challenge a rigged election, or if you don't have borders, then in actuality, you really don't have a country.
Donald Trump says if there's one more indictment, then that's all he needs to win the election, is just one more indictment. Obviously, he knows that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is about to indict it. But just think about it. Like, remember the days where if someone running for office would spell potato the wrong way, you'd be like, oh, that person can never be president. Now in the Republican Party, you've got someone saying, just give me one more indictment.
And then they filed them all, every one of them, all at essentially one time, including local DAs and AGs and even other cases right in the middle of the campaign, where we're leading by so much, and it's not going to make any impact because every time they file an indictment, we go way up in the polls. We need one more indictment to close out this election. One more indictment, and this election is closed out. Nobody has even a chance.
Another clip, Donald Trump talking about the Biden DOJ and saying they've waited 2.5 years to bring these charges. Play the clip.
The pollsters, they lied. As an example, every one of these many fake charges filed against me by the corrupt Biden DOJ could have been filed 2.5 years ago. They didn't want to do it 2.5 years ago. They wanted to wait, and they did wait. They waited right to the middle of an election, and they waited until I became the dominant force in the polls.
Another clip talking about Biden's henchmen.
Every time more Biden corruption is exposed, his henchmen indict me because they want to knock out the bad publicity. You ever see? Whenever they have something big happening, they put another indictment or a special indictment. It's called a cover-up, and what they do is illegal and horrible.
Another clip saying that the Biden administration's charges are illegal. They're not. You're indicted because you try to overthrow our democracy. Listen to what former Vice President Pence is saying, what your former Attorney General is saying. Play this clip, and then I'll get back to that point in a moment. Play it.
As the nation's top legal scholars have stated, the Biden administration's charges are illegal and constitutional travesty. Jonathan Turley, great guy, highly, highly respected, said this is a free speech killing indictment. Killing free speech, that's what it is. And referring to the deranged Jack Smith, he's not only going to have to just bulldoze through the First Amendment, he's going to have to bulldoze through a line of cases by the Supreme Court of the United States. In other words, this is an absolute case of prosecutorial misconduct. Andy McCarthy, highly respected, said this: to indict on such a theory in a manner that quite willfully intrudes into a presidential election is worse than irresponsible. The editors at the National Review wrote, this Trump indictment should not stand, should not stand. It's a terrible thing they're doing to our country.
Look, Donald Trump's former vice president is saying that Donald Trump tried to overthrow our democracy, okay? Donald Trump's former attorney general, Bill Barr, is saying that Donald Trump is guilty. Okay, your former vice president, your former attorney general, all of your White House lawyers, the only people who are supporting you are MAGA Republicans in the House and people like Giuliani and Sidney Powell and that whole crew. Here again, Trump says, okay, when he's in office, here's what he's going to do for you American people. He's going to open an investigation into Biden, who he calls the Biden crime family. Play the clip.
These people are corrupt. From the first day in office, I will appoint a special prosecutor to study each and every one of the many claims being brought forth by Congress concerning all of the crooked acts, including bribes from China and many other foreign countries that go into the coffers and go straight into the coffers of the Biden crime family. It is a crime family. He's a corrupt person. It's often said that Republicans don't fight hard enough, and I agree with that. We need more fighters like Tommy and others. We have some good fighters, but we don't have enough of them. We have some bad ones, too. But they never said that about Trump, and I think it's one of the reasons that you like me, and it's one of the reasons that I like you, and it's one of the reasons I like Alabama, because you're fighters.
And it's all projection, right, with Donald Trump. It's all projection and confession. It's the Trump crime family. Here he is saying that one of their other policies is going to close down the Department of Education. He wanted to close it down. He was going to do it, but then COVID hit. But he was going to close down the Department of Education. Play the clip.
Can you imagine that? We will return power to parents. Of course you want to return the power, especially when it comes to schools. You will have your power back. I will close the Department of Education and move all education back to the states where it belongs. We were going to do that. We were ready. And then we had the COVID.
And all the MAGA Republicans talk about is they want to close down the IRS, close down the Department of Education, close down the FBI, shut down the Department of Justice. I think they want to shut down the Commerce Department, like everything they just want to shut down. Here again, he attacks President Biden, calls him a crooked, competent thief. Play the clip.
But when they indicted their political opponent, and they did that, I said, now the gloves are off. He is a crooked, incompetent thief, and he shouldn't be allowed to be the president. And the Republicans better get tough, and they better get smart, because most of them look like a bunch of weak jerks right now. And you got to get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on.
Again, Donald Trump's obsessed with Hillary Clinton. Play the clip.
So I spoke much differently prior to that happening. And when it actually first happened, I said, no, I don't believe that. That can't be, especially these bogus charges. Presidential Records Act. I come under the Presidential Records Act. And then challenging an election. I mean, if you challenge an election, Hillary Clinton has been challenging, even though at 3 o'clock in the morning she said, you won, but then she went back to challenging it to this day. Stacey Abrams challenges it. Many congressmen have challenged it over the years. Many senators have challenged it. If you take a look at the West Coast, Hollywood has challenged it, but I think most of them voted for Trump. You know, a lot of them will say, this Trump, and then they say, you know, if I vote for him, I'm going to pay about 1/3 the taxes. I think I'm going to vote for Trump, but let's not talk about it. We did actually very well in Beverly Hills. Sort of amazing.
And it's over. All right, so there you have that. And just look at what President Biden is posting, please, for a moment. Here's what President Biden's talking about. Folks, unemployment in America has now been below 4% for the longest stretch in 53 years. Here's what President Biden's talking about. 13.4 million jobs have been added to our economy on my watch, more than any other president in a full 4-year term, and heartening that our economic agenda is creating opportunity for working families. A little typo there, but for working families. And it shows the jobs created by month. Here's President Biden talking about teachers. He says that Jill, his wife, reminds me all the time that teaching is not just what you do, it's who you are. So as educators head back into schools and classrooms across the country, I wanted to say thank you. This White House is behind you. Well, because I'll tell you who Trump is behind. He's behind Trump. And all he does is whine and talk about Trump this, Trump that, deranged Jack. Folks, it's not normal behavior. One of the reasons why we're building out this media network the way we are, by the way, go to MeidasTouch.com, our new pro-democracy website. That's MeidasTouch.com, where we post all the breaking news stories. We got a great team of writers there. Number one source of pro-democracy news is you've got legacy media, large media networks just treating this like it's normal. There's nothing normal about what you saw with Donald Trump there. That is very dead. It's not the way politics is supposed to be. Politics is supposed to be ideas about what government's going to do for people. Okay? What Donald Trump did is what you see in authoritarian countries, authoritarian fascist regimes. Okay? not normal behavior, and we absolutely have to call this out together every single day. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. I think we'll hit it this month. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Go to MeidasTouch.com, wherever audio podcasts are available. Subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have a great day. Ben Meiselas here. I want to tell you about my best friend growing up as a kid. His name is David Sorokin. We were inseparable growing up. Here, check out the photos of us. I knew David Sorokin was going to grow up to do great things, and that he did. And I want to tell you how David Sorokin can help you out. You see, David Sorokin is a partner at the renowned plaintiffs law firm called the Montgomery Law Firm, one of the top personal injury law firms in the entire country, with a specialty in truck accidents, construction accidents, and cases where a victim has suffered a traumatic brain injury. Montgomery Law Firm has obtained billions of dollars in recoveries all across the country for its clients and their families. The Montgomery Law Firm recently received a jury verdict of more than $100 million for a single plaintiff who suffered a traumatic brain injury as a result of a construction accident, setting the New York State record for the largest pain and suffering verdict ever in a traumatic brain injury case. The Montgomery firm has represented actor-comedian Tracy Morgan in his famous truck accident case against Walmart. The Montgomery firm takes cases that are 7, 8, and 9 figures to jury verdicts. So if you or anyone in your family has been injured as a result of someone else's negligence, call the attorneys at the Montgomery Law Firm today. The phone number is 516-447-8233. That's 516-447-8233. You can also check out their website at morellilaw.com/Meidas. That's MORELLILAW.com/Meidas. Again, it's MORELLILAW.com/Meidas. And as I've kind of phased out being a litigator and I've been focusing more on the MeidasTouch network, I want to make sure that you are all in good hands if you or someone you know has been a victim of someone else's negligence. So reach out to the Montgomery firm. They're a law firm that I trust a lot, and I know they'll take very good care of you all. That's morellilaw.com/Meidas, and you can say that Ben Meiselas sent you. Have a great one.